Welcome to Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. I'm Tobie Hewitt, and I'm your guide through time and space and all points in between. Mystic Musings will give you insight into who you are, why you are here, how to live an authentic life, and where you fit into the universe around you. Join me on this path of mystical exploration. Welcome to episode 76 of Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. This week, we will continue to consider Pathwork as we continue our mystic journey. As I said at the end of last week's episode, a major part of Pathwork has to do with opening yourself to the information and inspiration of your intuitive mind. It is, after all, connected to your esoteric body, which contains your spirit, and in that knows what your life plan is, and the pathwork you are supposed to be pursuing. And if you train yourself to listen carefully to your intuition, you will find that your intuition is a part of the creative flow of the universe, and then you will have opened yourself up to the guidance necessary to inform the very core of what you are and what your life is supposed to be like. At some point in the last couple of weeks, as I started my daily writing practice of capturing 1,000 words, I glanced at the clock. I sometimes like to know how long it takes me to reach that magic 1,000 number. Sometimes it is far less than an hour, and sometimes I find I need to get ready for my day, and I finish the writing later. Anyway, as I glanced at the clock, it read 5:55. I have since then run into this series of fives several times, and I looked up what it meant. One of the meanings offered is that I should expect changes moving me closer to my divine purpose. Well, I think that is a fine and confirming message that I have a divine purpose, which of course we all have. It is our life pathwork. There are two ways of thinking, with the ego mind or with the intuitive mind. A lot of the recent events are occurring because people are thinking with their ego minds and not listening to their intuition. Ego mind's guidance demands the pursuit of power and the accumulation of wealth. In other words, the over-accumulation of material goods. It has nothing to do with the mindful advancement of the planet, but rather the self-centered advancement of the individual, and in this case, the self-centered advancement of many egocentric folks. All of this could easily be tempered by simply listening to the intuitive mind, which always works for the greater good. But how do we open ourselves to the intuitive mind when we have been trained to ignore its messages? People, especially those in authority, like parents and teachers, like to tell us as we grow and learn that the only way to succeed is to put one's nose to the grindstone and work, work, work. We are trained at school in many mundane ideas that we will never use, while at the same time we learn nothing about using mindfulness techniques to open ourselves to utilizing the intuition to gain knowledge and inspiration. This, of course, is changing as more and more schools are building mindfulness training into at least a part of the day. Mindfulness keeps us centered and calm, seeking peace and sharing empathy and compassion. I truly hope that this new paradigm grows with these students to create a new way of dealing with stressors and issues that infiltrate our daily lives, and through that, change for the better our nation and the planet. I am very lucky. I have been aware of my intuition and the larger universe into which it is connected from a very early age. I had a spirit guide, I still have a spirit guide, Roger, who both taught me and protected me as I grew into being a mystic. I always knew that the best method of learning and coping was to become very calm. I would recognize this as meditation later on, and to listen carefully to the inner voice and the energies of the universe, which guided me as I grew older. I use my intuition for even the simplest things. If I have misplaced something, I always stop, take a calming breath, and say aloud, "Show me where my whatever it is." This has come in handy as I have moved and many of my belongings are still packed, and I have had little time to unpack. But I need certain things now, and as I ask where a thing is, and the location is then flashed into my mind, and I go to that spot and open a drawer or a box or lift a haphazardly placed blanket, and there it is. I swear this happens more than you can possibly imagine, but it is how I run my life. If I need to know where something is, or need some information, I simply ask, and I am guided by my intuitive mind, which is connected to the all-knowing, all-seeing universe, and the answer is shown to me. This ability was especially helpful during exams in school, when the answer to a question would elude me. I would unobtrusively close my eyes for a moment, take a calming breath, and ask the universe for help. Oftentimes, this answer was something I know I did not learn, but it would pop into my head, and I would indicate that answer, and it was invariably correct. Now, some may say that this is cheating, but I don't think it is cheating to ask the universe for help in any circumstance. Surely, you have moments of knowing. Perhaps you knew who was calling you when the phone rang. Or maybe you knew you were going to run into someone who had been on your mind, or said in exasperation, "Where is my hairbrush?" or whatever, and then felt led to exactly where you find it. Asking the universe for help is your way of tuning your intuition into the vibrational pathway, otherwise known as the interdependent web, that holds the answer. It does take practice, but mostly it takes trust in something unseen that interacts with something seen in order to provide you with the desired knowledge. As I prepare these episodes, it is a group effort. I am always listening for the guidance on which direction to go with the topic, and once that is in place, I receive the words that flow from the universe through my intuitive mind into my physical mind, and then can be utilized by my fingers as I type them on the keyboard. Which reminds me to mention further the esoteric body and your path. The esoteric body is formed as your spirit begins to enter your new body as you incarnate. It consists of layers of energy that both protect the spirit inhabiting a body, but also communicates vibrationally between the physical body and the spiritual body, which I know sounds like a circular definition, but it is a much larger topic than is needed for this discussion of intuition. The ego mind is part of the physical body's mind, and the intuitive mind is part of the spiritual body's mind. Before you begin a new incarnation, you and your guides discuss what you need to learn in this new life and build a plan for you to follow. When you were born, for quite a while, you remembered details of the plan. And I often think a lot of a baby's crying is due to the desire to get on with the plan. Of course, one must relearn how to move the physical body and to talk, etc. The plan becomes a subliminal framework that your spirit and intuition know, but your physical body and mind do not. Sometimes you will have a flash of a place you have never been, but you feel a strong urge to visit or even move there. Once in the location, you will experience a sense of familiarity. You will know this is where you are meant to be at that moment. Of course, this can be as small as walking into a library, being drawn to a shelf, and finding a book that you recognize will answer a question you have, or as large as what happened to me when I first drove onto the property on which I now live. I recognized it immediately. I had seen it intuitively for years, right down to the gently rising knoll before I saw the flowing river beside which I am now writing. The more we train ourselves to listen to our intuition, the more help we can receive from the universe. This training can take the form of daily meditation, reading about the development of the intuitive mind, beginning to test your trust in information that you receive, and through daily writing, beginning to write out questions and feel yourself writing down answers you did not know you knew. Developing our intuition is the basis for being able to pursue our pathwork with purpose and clarity. And I am glad you are here with me as we both journey on our paths. If you have questions or experiences you would like to share, please write to me through the contact page on my website, tobiehewitt.com. Please join me next week for episode 77 of Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt, when Spirit and I will share aspects of Pathwork as we continue our mystic journey.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Mystic Musings. Please join me every week to continue our exploration of all things mystical that can help you have a more practical and magical life. Please visit my website, tobiehewitt.com, for more information and to read my blog postings. And join me also at pathwaystomindfulness.org to learn how you can schedule a presentation. I'm available for mindfulness training, demonstrations of psychic abilities, and individual readings. I also have a number of books on mystical topics on Amazon.com. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions. Please contact me through tobiehewitt.com.